question I get asked a lot when I'm doing reviews is, what microphone arm are you using? And in today's video, we're not only talking about the one I'm using now, but all of these low profile arms, as well as this one, and even one that I've recently stopped using for reasons I'm just going to be very transparent with you about. Let's get into this video. All right, for full transparency, all of the microphone arms on this table have been sent to me from brands, but they are not seeing this video ahead of time. They're not sponsoring this video. No money has changed hands. I'm just giving you my full unfettered opinion on this. Whatever the case, take the trust with it as you will. So this microphone arm is kind of a normal traditional style microphone arm. Clamps to the desk, kind of goes up and over, moves in and out, whatever the case, pretty normal stuff. This is the FIFINE BM66. And this is the FIFINE BM88. This is the low profile arm that attaches to the desk, and it kind of can go underneath monitors. And people will ask the question of, well, do I want a regular profile arm or a low profile arm? And my answer always to that is, you should probably try both. But in that same case, if your microphone arm is going to be here, I would probably use a regular arm. If you're wanting one that comes up from under your monitors, low profile arm. We're going to talk about each of these mic arms, and we're going to talk about pricing, and we're going to talk about which ones I recommend, my thoughts, what comes in the box, etc. Just because I feel like it's best that we just kind of overview them and I just give you my genuine opinion on them, because there's some really good ones on here and there's some that I just don't recommend and you should totally not buy. Let's start off with the most expensive ones on the table. This is the Elgato LP Arm, and this microphone arm is something that I've been using for the last 3-4 months. I actually did an unboxing with my son with this microphone on this channel, and it was an awesome time. You should totally go check that video out. But this microphone arm has served me really well. It has some really unique stuff, as in it has a cutout on both sides of the arm to be able to actually run your cables through, both on the top arm and the bottom arm. It has the magnetic cable trays to be able to run your cables in, and these are upgraded magnets to when it was the first release. So if you watch some older videos on this, you might hear about how these kind of pop off really easy. I'm having to put a lot of force to pull that, so I don't think that's an issue anymore. And it's all adjustable, so you have a kind of a piece right here which will tighten up the arm at the top. It's a lot larger than the other one that's right here on the ball head, that I have a tool that I've 3D printed to make it easier to loosen and tighten. But then you also have the piece that attaches to the desk with this nice little attachment. You can spin it just like normal, but if you're like up against a wall or something, you can actually pull against this, rotate it, and it kind of allows you to ratchet this, which is really nice. So it allows you to get some leverage when you attach it to a desk. This is a $99 profile arm, low profile arm that is currently on sale for $79.99. That's probably not going to stay for forever, but it's on sale right now at least. This microphone arm, if I was to rate it out of 10, this is a solid 9 out of 10. The only concern that I really have with this microphone arm is the ball head, and this is kind of going to be with everything. This screw that's right here is like the hardest thing to tighten. So where I had to actually 3D print this little tool. I'll leave a link to it in Thingiverse, which goes over the top of it. That gives you more leverage to tighten up, because some microphones will not tighten. They're a little too heavy for these ball heads, so you have to tighten it up really well. This has actually served me well on every single mic arm I have. Even this one that I'm currently using, it fits absolutely perfect on there, so you can tell that they're using a lot of the same keying and manufacturing for these. But $99, I think that this microphone arm, 9 out of 10. I highly recommend this microphone arm from Elgato. Let's go to the next one on the list that's kind of the same price range, but a little bit different. This is the Rode DS2. This is a desktop microphone stand that Rode sent over, and I've used this several times for reviews, and honestly, if I loved desktop stands, this is the one that I would use by far. It's really good weight. It holds up my heaviest microphones like the Rode Pod Mic, the Rode NT1. It's also held up the SM7B, etc. I've used this for several of my microphone reviews and genuinely love this. It's got cable cutouts. It actually extends pretty tall if you need it to. You can kind of see from this perspective. And it also has a reducer for the ball head to go from the actual like microphone to a smaller thread. All of these have those reducers. Some of them reduce all the way down to 1/4 20, some don't. But honestly, the Rode DS2 microphone stand, if I was into desktop stands, 100% I would highly recommend this. And for those of you who don't want to actually attach one to your desk and have a mobile stand, this is the one I would point you to. However, it's $90. Exactly, $90. This is what I would totally recommend you go pick up. Rode, really awesome job with this. It feels professional. It feels like something from Rode, honestly. For about the same price, around $90 or so, you can get this arm that you currently are looking at. I'll switch. This is the new FIFINE BM88 the high profile arm, I guess you would be able to say. And honestly, in the box, it just unpacks like any other microphone arm. Kind of has the same kind of ball head on the end, but it has these little cable trays where you can hide the cable in here and kind of make it look really neat. The only branding that's on here is the FIFINE logo up here, but it's not colored. It's just kind of indented into the actual microphone arm. So on camera, you're not like branding the whole bunch of stuff here. And honestly, when it comes to the other microphone arms, like the Rode DS2, the one we just did, as well as the LP arm from Elgato, the branding is not there. And it's really nice that you can on stream not have to show a brand every time. Yeah, unless they're, and that's another thing, unless you're sponsored by them and they're giving you money consistently into a shot, don't just like freely promote. It's great to have brand loyalty, but sometimes you need to be able to have that opportunity that you just need to have it clean. And sometimes against black, having something white on there, totally going to pull people's attention. Normally this microphone arm is $100, $99, just like the other ones, but it's on sale now for $79, 80 bucks, or you can spend an extra $5 and get an extension tube, which makes it even taller. And this is like a 19-inch arm, I believe, or 17-inch. I think it's a 18-inch or 19-inch arm. Anyway, on each end, I think it's 17 inches now that I'm saying that. 17 inches on each arm, pretty tall. And that brings me to this one, a very, very almost identical microphone arm. This is from Joby. Same kind of concept. It's got a cable tray that removes. The big difference is these are plastic and they come with red and black in the bag. And these are rubber, which I prefer over the plastic ones, because if you move your microphone around too much, these will make sound. The rubber ones are really nice, but this one also comes with, which I've removed, it has a cup holder that can attach here. It's kind of not that great, but the ball heads are the same. The attachments are the same. It's almost an identical microphone arm. This one's $100 as well. I use this microphone arm for so long that I don't have much complaints about it, except that sometimes it's noisy, especially when it comes to all of the adjustments that are inside it and how much plastic is on it. I'm sure I'm going to have a similar situation with this eventually, but this just feels, I'll be honest, it just feels premium compared to this. This feels kind of a little janky when it comes to that aspect. And the same thing with the problem with the ball on this. I have had to over tighten this multiple times to make it work. And that might just be my specific model. Anyway, moving on. So the next one on the list is this. This is the Maono BA92 Black LP Arm. And this is $69.99. Nice. Right now with a 10% coupon, or it's originally 90 bucks for an LP arm. And I was having high expectations for this low profile arm just because it has a lot of the similar features. It's got a cable tray on the bottom. However, as you can already see, it's completely different. And I'll hold it up to the camera. You can see attach, detach. This is a piece of plastic, as you can hear me tapping. You basically just slide this piece of plastic, and then there's the cable tray. And while that might look like you've got some depth in there, there's not a whole lot of room to work in there. And I honestly just did not like how this felt. There is a place where you can run the cables inside. Was not a fan of this piece right here specifically, and honestly, this is really thin metal. All the cables have to run up and connect. There are attachments, just like all the other ones, where you can tighten this and loosen it, whatever the case, to adjust them. But my biggest gripe with this Maono is this. Friend, you don't have to put your logo right there by the microphone, right here. You didn't have to do that. And for that reason specifically, I probably will not use this microphone arm on camera, just because the branding is so loud. I love their logo. I love that. They probably make one of the best budget microphones it's not even budget. It's over $100, so I can't say that. But the PD400X has been a really awesome microphone that people have loved on my channel, but I don't think I'm gonna put this up just so it promotes Maono at all times. The other thing that I don't like about this is on the ball head, it has the reducer for the regular microphone right here to be able to do this, to make the little conversion, but it doesn't go to 1/4 which is like what most like webcams and things like that do. And I would like to have that versatility because a lot of the other arms that are on the table have that. I wish that it was a 1/4 ball thread that had the actual other adjustments and opportunities there. But for the price compared to some other stuff we're about to look at on the table, yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this. I don't think that it's a bad microphone arm, but compared to the next microphone arm, the build quality as well as the lack of branding makes me definitely lean towards that. Next up on the list is this. This is the BM88 from FIFINE, the low profile arm. And this one comes in 3 colors to match their FIFINE AM8, or which is their Ampligain mic. And honestly, not only can you get this in pink, but you can get this in white and black. And I think that's the most customization out of the ones that are on the table. You can get white and black, and a lot of them is pretty cool. And as far as this microphone itself, it is a $56 microphone, making it one of the cheapest low profile arms on the table -1. And of them, this is the one that I would actually rate the second best on the table because it reminds me so much of the Elgato arm, which is the best one in my opinion. It has this exact same ratchet system to be able to loosen, and then you can actually lift and expand this to be able to ratchet and tighten this against the desk. I love that. The branding is only on this part of the arm, which will most likely not be visible to your viewers. It does have cable trays, and they are plastic. However, they are a lot deeper and in that same case are easier to remove. They feel a lot more premium, and there's a lot more space for those cables to kind of go down inside. So I feel like this is a much better construction, and they go on pretty easily and lock in place. It's also a rounded bar, which compared to the Elgato one just feels a little bit better when you're moving it around, and I think it looks a little sleeker. It's a little thinner, and the metal feels a lot more premium. It's thicker, but also it's got all the adjustments as normal. It's the same length as the Elgato arm. The ball head is very similar. It's got reduction down to 1/4. For $56, you really can't go wrong here. The only gripe I have is that there's no cutouts on the top of the bars so that we can run the cables out or bring them in from the top if we wanted. They only can go in from the bottom. And the same thing on the top bar. You might want the cable to come out of the top and go in here, kind of like what I'm doing here with the SM7B. Mine would normally come out the top and plug in, but you have to run it out of the bottom of this, which I'm not a huge fan of. I wish you had that option up top. But for half the price, almost half the price of the Elgato arm, I think it's a no-brainer that you look at this arm. And I feel like it has a lot more flexibility in its tightening, and the ball head actually tightens up, in my opinion, a little bit better than the Elgato one. But that could also just be the fact that I've used the Elgato one longer than this FIFINE one. The tool also fits, I mean, literally identical in there, so it's got to be almost the same ball head. Also, if you're a fan of the white, the actual ball here is white. There's just so much to like about this arm, in my opinion, especially for $56. Being a low profile arm, I think that this is going to be a permanent fixture over there on my Steam Deck setup for the Wave Neo microphone. So this is the Innogear LP Arm that they sent over. This is a $29 microphone arm, being the cheapest one that we have here for the actual attachment ones. This one has a headphone hook. It screws to the desk. It's kind of removable. It's kind of a different stand than one of the other ones that we've seen. The one difference that you're getting for $29 is there's no up and down adjustment. It's literally just movement across, and it's not raised up very high. So honestly, the range of motion on this is not that great, and I really feel like the arm just kind of gets in the way. So I'm not hugely recommending this arm. If you're needing something cheap, sure. If you need it to just hold something, sure. They also included a shock mount that you can attach microphones to, but in my opinion, it's too wide for things like the SM58 and stuff like that for it to really be useful. So I think this is just kind of an extra addition that doesn't need to be there. And it doesn't reduce down to 1/4. It only reduces down to the thicker coarse. I can't even remember what the threading is, but it doesn't reduce down to 1/4-20, so it can't be used for things like lighting or cameras or anything like that. So in my opinion, I don't think I would recommend this microphone arm unless you just need a budget arm to be able to attach it to the desk, and you don't want one of those same like small square tube ones that everyone has for 14 bucks. I mean, this could be an option, but for the price, I would probably spend the extra $20 and get the FIFINE Mic Arm over this any day, just because of the range of motion. I mean, there's no up and down adjustment, guys. It's literally just, that's all you get. And the last arm we're talking about today is this one. This is one of the most popular requests that I've had on mic arms, because I did this in the FIFINE AM8 review a while back, and this has been the most what was that microphone arm? This is a $14 microphone desk stand. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It doesn't have a lot of weight to it, and there is a lot of handling noise because there's not even like rubber or felt pads on the bottom. It's all plastic. It's not the best thing in the world, but honestly, I've had so much use out of this stand that for $14 to have an extra stand lying around, I do recommend it for its price. I've used it for client events because it does break down so small and remove itself down to just this, where you can just attach it at any time. So I do think that there is some versatility in this for its price. And Bilione, I don't know how many of these microphone stands I've sold for you, but it's got to be a lot. So that wraps us up for these microphone arms. And if you want my final piece of advice for this, when it comes to a microphone arm, sometimes you make the choice for aesthetics, sometimes you make the choice for functionality, and sometimes you make the choice because of price. And what I would tell you is, if you're wanting to choose the best out of all three of those, my full this is my recommendation for you to get is the FIFINE low profile arm for the BM88 model. I think that for the price, the form, the choice of options of colors, I think it's the best bang for the buck arm that you can get on the table for a low profile. But for the high profile one, I would highly recommend this one or the Joby one. I think they both performed well. I just think this one has a little bit better build quality. This is the FIFINE BM66. But that being said, if you've got the budget and you're willing to spend $100 for the arm, the Elgato LP Arm is crazy good, and with what it offers, I do love this arm, and I highly recommend it. The high profile arm, they haven't sent me, so I can't say anything to that, but I've heard good things. And if you need a desktop stand, I love this Rode DS2. The weight, the build quality, the feel, this thing is crazy good. The other ones on the table are not something I would necessarily recommend that you go and pick up, and those are my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see some microphones and some tests of these microphones on some of these arms, you should check out one of these two videos. One of them where I do a full comparison of several microphones, and one where I talk about the most expensive microphone compared to the cheapest microphone that I have in my inventory. Thanks guys. I hope to see you in the future videos, and I hope to see you next time. Y'all have a great day.